I'm American, arrogant, throwing fits, ripping shit, tearing it, imperative. Then I'm killing this mic no matter where I live. These derelict rappers acting a fool, this embarrassing is flagrant. That's the nature of this entertainment, and we can't even change it. Guilty before arraignment, now the system tainted. But when we speak, they all laugh at us, and y'all wonder why I'm lacking trust. Try to fight a giant with attorneys that can back them up. That's church versus science, both sides start acting up. I'm late on my assignment, hopping up a mile high, climbing, obviously never silent. New alignment, I'm defiant, cannot describe it. Used to describe it as a young graffiti artist. Before the beard, I always got carded. Hit every bar, even though my bar has been the hardest. The scars on my face said I ain't always been the smartest, but I'll show you where my heart is. I said I'll show you where my heart is. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve, even if the beat stops my soul.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday! Hanging with the fellas, little sports nonsense and whiskey. How we doing, gentlemen? Robert, Pinky, cheers to you, good sirs.
Doing good, man.
Better now. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, man. What a day. So happy to be done.
What a last few days. I'm ready to get some sleep.
Well, you did that to yourself. So
I did. It was nonstop partying this weekend, and it was awesome and worth every minute of it. But no, I'm ready to just go to bed.
Sometimes you gotta feed the soul, and sometimes you gotta sleep, baby.
That's right. It's time to sleep now. The soul has been nourished.
Nice. Yep. Well, gentlemen, as always, this time of year, we say it probably almost every weekend. And then it's what most of the show is compiled of, is football. And there's a lot of football this weekend, as expected. A lot of good football, college and NFL. So we've got plenty of those things to discuss. Ever slight mention of F1 with the week off. Now we got new race coming up for the grid. We'll throw that out there right quick, and then a little Peacemaker spoilers. So that'll be coming up as well. With that all being said, Pinky, in the world of college football, how are you feeling about your Canes?
We're back, baby.
Went from the start of the season where he had no faith and he didn't care whatsoever, not even a little bit. Now this guy's hyping him up as maybe the best team in the country, which, I mean, they're playing some really good football, so I can't be mad. He doesn't think they actually are easy. I don't want that to get hot taked like something he said, but the dichotomy of where he was to where he is now is quite different.
No one could have predicted that Carson Beck would have figured out how to play football again. So I think that goes a long way.
He's playing halfway decent.
Philly Mike trolling again.
Yeah, you guys learned your lesson, luckily. Hopefully that won't happen again.
Philly Mike's a riot, though. I like that guy. Appreciate you. I'd be searching everything. Like, I can't find nothing.
So ridiculous. Like, if our phone's not blowing up, I would go out on a limb and say it's not true. If we don't have the notification for it, then something's probably not happening. Just a thought. Just
that's fair.
Throwing it out there. The U, Pinky, looking pretty solid. Handled USF quite well. Easily, I would say. Carson Beck almost turned into a bit of a pumpkin in the sense that he threw 2 bad picks. Now, with how well he was playing and everything else that happened, maybe those are on the receiver. You never really know. But they weren't great. So there is that. Maybe USF isn't that good. And so Miami handled business against a team that really shouldn't have been ranked anyways. Florida really is that bad, which we'll get to here in a second. And we'll see what happens. But Miami is 3-0, looking solid. Not a bad start to the season. They are the front runners in the ACC right now due to the simple fact that Clemson is bad. Clemson's bad, okay? Klubnik is not it. He's not that dude. Dabo Sweeney coming out today and basically saying, if you aren't with us now, then you never were with us before, and you weren't truly a fan. And Dabo's known to say some things that are a little off the rocker at times, so this is very Dabo-esque. This maths for him, so not surprised with the comments from Dabo after another bad loss. Georgia Tech, though, great upset from Georgia Tech. Got to have that win to keep pace, and if you want to have anything come of your season, being in a potential ACC championship game, those are the games you got to get. Georgia Tech doesn't look bad, so more power to Georgia Tech for that situation. But it does appear to be Miami's conference to lose right now.
We'll see. I'm trying not to get my hopes up. Just trying to relax, chill. If Miami were to win the college football playoff championship, you tattoo. It happened.
Okay.
It happened. You got to win a championship to get a tattoo on me. Miami, you know what to do.
You know I love tats, buddy, and I'm all for you getting your artwork, but that's one I will not be pulling for.
Fair.
Solid,
Fair.
Caleb. Solid. Good. Way to be a friend. Way to be a friend.
I got you, my guy. Other news.
Whoa.
Oh.
Michigan State and the Trojans going at it 9 p.m. on Saturday, baby.
This guy. We're talking about upsets from last week and recapping, and he's jumping ahead to a game that
I'm so
arguably
excited.
nobody cares about.
I'm so excited.
He's like F last week. I don't care.
Yeah, no. This is it because Notre Dame shouldn't even be ranked, in my opinion. They're 0-2. Get out of there.
Oh, well, so talking about Notre Dame right now, losing to Texas A&M, who I've said before and I'll say again, I don't think they're going to be any good in the long term, in the big scheme of things. They'll find a way to, as Pinky likes to say it, charger, and it's going to cause issues for them. But Notre Dame losing that game, already having the one loss under their belt.
Up 17-7 and then just,
not good.
Fell apart.
What, Caleb Love, where have you been this season? What's going on with the Notre Dame run game? I know you're starting a freshman at quarterback, but shouldn't you be relying on said run game then a little bit more heavy? Something's off.
So
Something's
Caleb,
off.
With 2 losses and almost nobody else worth noting on their schedule, still making the playoffs?
If they run the table, because they still have USC, and if you pull up Notre Dame's schedule right now, Pinky, they don't have FBS teams. I'm sorry, FCS teams. They play all FBS teams. So that does help them a little bit in that regard. If they run the table, they will be in the college football playoffs still, I think. I would be hard-pressed to believe they don't still make it with 2 losses.
But one more and they're...
One more, I'd say they're definitely out. So, absolutely with that. One more, I can't imagine they still get in with one more. Texas A&M, again, good win for them, but long-term, I don't see it meaning a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, being that the SEC is, Alabama, Georgia, Texas still, but Texas has not looked good. Arch Manning no longer in the Heisman race for sure. You can count that out this year. He's not looked good.
Dud.
I'm not ready to pull the plug on my comments of him having a fabulous season, because he could still easily turn it around, and so could Texas in the long term. And go win a national title and just make people look foolish. I don't see that like I did when the season started, so shame on me for jumping on a bandwagon that I don't like being on in the first place. But, things happen. I still have seen some flashes out of Arch, though, that it's like, oh, yeah, that's why that dude is the prospect that he is. He's done some throws specifically. Like, the running ability is nice, and that mobility is always great. But he's had some throws here and there where you look at it and you go, that is not an average person thing. Not everybody can do that. It's how consistent can he get, and how well can he read the defenses to make sure he's making the right throw at the right time. And that's something he's been struggling with this year for sure. So Texas struggling, but still winning. So not all is lost in that scenario. Another big quarterback, though, that is having, I would say, issues. Definitely not the season a lot anticipated, and that would be Lenora Sellers down there in South Carolina, losing to Vandy in a big way. 31-7. That is not good for South Carolina, a team that was ranked, I want to say, top 10, 11, 11th at the time. To get spanked by Vandy in the way that they did. Lenora Sellers looking not good, struggling. A lot of these quarterbacks that we talked about to start the season have not. Arch, Lenora Sellers, Kate Klubnik. Carson Beck's actually looked good, and we mentioned him in the sense that he's going to continue to be a potato, and he's not. He's actually looked like one of the better ones. Underwood, freshman, give or take, hasn't looked great, but freshman. And doesn't look like there's a lot around him either as far as weapons go when it comes to Michigan. Sayin out in Ohio State has looked pretty solid, especially for a freshman. A lot of weapons there, but still freshman. So Aller hasn't really played anybody. You're not really sure about him yet. Nussmeier has up and down like Pinky's talked about in the last couple of weeks. Maybe a really bad first half and then really good second half. So you got to wonder about that a little bit. Quarterbacks that we had talked about and that we were so hyped on coming into the season to see how they fare and some of the matchups you get haven't quite really been living up to the hype.
Interesting times in college football. I didn't watch a lot. I saw the Miami game. I did watch the Texas A&M game with Notre Dame because I was playing poker with a buddy and he couldn't get it on his TV downstairs, so I put it on my phone because he's a Texas A&M fan. So we had a good time rooting for Texas A&M. But other than that, Colorado shit in the bed again. I mean, this kind of
Dion, I really thought by year 3 he'd be running the gauntlet and owning the Big 12. And he's relied so heavily on the transfer portal and not building up a stockpile coming in. It really does make me wonder how much longer he's going to be there. Now, the health issues, I think, play a lot into this offseason and this season as a whole. We expected them to stumble a little bit without their senior class that just left, Shador, Travis Hunter, a lot of the guys that they had brought with them already. So these next couple of years are going to say a lot. And his recruiting classes right now are not something that you're going to be talking about. So what Dion and that former NFL player staff that he's put together do is going to be interesting to keep an eye on for sure. But nothing to talk about there at the moment.
Nope. Except for losses. Anything else you got, Caleb, for college football?
Well, Robert mentioned Michigan State, USC this weekend. Michigan State is actually looking kind of good. And I'm drawing a blank on their quarterback's name.
Oh,
dang it.
You
I
would
just
put me
had
on
it.
the spot.
Yeah, don't worry. Robert
you
doesn't
would
know.
put me on the spot.
I wasn't expecting Robert to know, so no worries there. Sorry. Drawing a blank.
Aiden Childs.
Thank you. Aiden Childs has shown some really nice development from last year to this year. So don't sleep on that game against the Trojans of USC. As Robert mentioned before, the Battle of the Trojans. Both being in the Big Ten now, it would be funny if this became a little bit of an actual rivalry for the name. That could make some interesting banter.
I vote for this Trojan horse trophy I sent you earlier. I am all for this.
That would be cool. So something like that would be fun. Another big game that's going to mean a lot for both teams in their season's trajectories, surprisingly enough. Not trying to do the homer, I've tried to avoid the conversations, but Michigan and Nebraska play this weekend, and that's in Lincoln. If Nebraska wants to see the year 3 Matt Rule jump and be seriously considered as one of the dark horses that people have kind of talked about them as before the season started, this is a game they have to win. You got to go out there and beat Michigan at home. if Michigan wants to look like they just stumbled, but they really do have the pieces, and their quarterback, as a true freshman, with all the talent that he's projected to have, can be the real deal in year one, this is a game they have to have. And it would be a statement game for Michigan. You win a big game in Lincoln away in that atmosphere, you get right back into kind of that Big Ten picture and the playoff picture. But the same is for Nebraska. You beat Michigan. Yeah, people can say, well, yeah, Michigan's not that good this year. Okay, fine. But then you still beat a team you were supposed to beat, right? And that's a big deal for a program that's trying to turn the corner and not be having that monkey on their back, if you will, with losing close games and not being able to get it done when it matters and being bad for a couple decades. So that's another big game. Apologize, I had this. There's a couple other ones that I wanted to mention here, Pinky. Oh, here we go. Texas Tech and Utah. While the name recognition isn't there, it is a top 25 matchup, and that's a Big 12 matchup. So one of those teams could take kind of that more forward-leaning seat, if you will, for the Big 12 championship. So while the name recognition isn't there, if you like football, and Texas Tech is actually looking pretty good this year. And air raid offense, all that good stuff. It's a fun game. If you're just looking for something to watch, that could be fun and interesting.
And you have a couple on here.
Auburn, Oklahoma would be another one. Another top 25 matchup. How real is Oklahoma? Auburn's top 25. They're like 22, 23, depending on the polls you're looking at. They beat Oklahoma. They can jump a little bit. SEC can start talking about how, it's just a gauntlet. It's so tough. Everybody's good. When really, I don't think either one of these teams are that great to begin with. So we shall see how that goes. But there's some solid football this weekend here, moving forward with the college football playoff in the end. Last statement I'll say, Pinky. By all accounts, and this is why college football especially is so crazy, because you don't hear this kind of stuff in the NFL a lot. By all accounts, what Billy Napier has set up down there in Florida is first class. You walk around, you talk to people, you hear things, everything's set up the right way to win and be really good. But then for whatever reason, he puts a headset on and those players step on the grass and nothing translates. And the dude got the job because everywhere else he was at translated really well. You know what I mean? It's not like he just got that job because he was a bad head coach elsewhere. So whatever happened and whatever's going on down there in Florida where there's a disconnect between those things is quite interesting. And watching a guy that a lot of people in sophomore DJ Lagway talk about as potentially being in a Heisman conversation, and they could see a big jump from him this year, and he's going to be a really good quarterback. Go out there and toss 5 picks in a game that they still had an opportunity to steal one away from LSU in Death Valley because LSU didn't play great either. You just, it like, at some point they're not mistakes. That's just the culture. That's the DNA. That's the muscle memory. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to like come down on Florida because Nebraska has had that same issue for years. Like people will be like, wow, this place, like it seems like everything's there to not be bad. And yet you watch them lose 9 straight one-possession games or whatever other stats you want to throw out there for a team that's on a really bad losing streak. And Florida's got it right now, and they can't seem to figure it out. And it's not because of lack of talent from the coach or the players. But I just, I find it really baffling and worthy of paying attention to, even if you're not a fan, because it is something that seems uniquely college football. How often do you hear an NFL organization and everybody's like, man, everything's right. We got the players. We got a really good head coach. The facilities, like everybody's happy. Everything's going well. But then we step on the field and something just doesn't. No, you usually hear like the coach wasn't, he wasn't a locker room guy. The players were too young and they were off their rocker and they weren't handling the business the way they were supposed to. And they let some dudes go, and the coach brought in new guys with the GM. And, like, you never hear everything seems to be right, but it's all wrong. That just seems to be a college football thing. And when it gets bad, it's really hard to get out of. Really hard.
Well, Miami's going to beat Florida and make it worse for them.
Yeah.
Now, before we move on to the NFL, I'm going to give you 2 minutes of flowers. Just 2 minutes.
Okay.
That's a long 2 minutes for Pinky.
That's, yeah,
Are you
I'm not
talking
sure
to my
what
wife
to do
again?
with that.
What's going on?
I mean,
I got to give Caleb his flowers that he talked about and predicted the Crawford fight pretty well. The only thing he didn't know is that Canelo wasn't going to do shit. Like, that was actually a bad fight. That was not an entertaining fight. As a super fight, unless you were a Crawford fan, which I was because I bet on him.
I was super entertained.
you had picked Crawford to win. You had picked Crawford to figure things out and dominate, and he did. There was nothing from Canelo. Like, I watched that fight going, Canelo's literally taking, like, just thinking in the back of his mind, I'm going to take this $100 million and walk home. I'm not getting busted up. He didn't try throwing a whole lot.
That's where I'll disagree with you there, because he was throwing body shots, but Crawford was eating a lot of those punches, and he is also playing really good defense. So even when Canelo was trying to come a little bit higher, the gloves were always in the way, or the arms were always in the way, and Crawford moved a lot. Canelo isn't known for throwing jabs. He's really known for power, haymakers, and most people can't handle that. And Crawford ate it, and Canelo wasn't ready for it. There was one point in the fight where I got really nervous because I didn't want to get too excited because I knew what it meant. But I still didn't want to get overzealous, if you will. And there was a point when Crawford caught him with a 1-2, kind of jab right to the forehead nose. And Alvarez just kind of stepped back and just complete sheer look of frustration and like, I'm so over this fight at this point, was on his face. Like, I can't figure this out. I'm not happy about this. And then he basically said as much after the fight. He said he's better than Mayweather. He said he could not figure him out. The way he was moving, the way he was throwing punches, the fact that he was eating his power punches in a way that he wasn't anticipating him to, frustrated him, and he couldn't get it done. Now, Canelo is such that he's got one of the best chins in boxing. Maybe the best. I have heard some say. So, I'm surprised that there wasn't a little bit more power thrown from Crawford to try and wear him down later in the fight. But at the same time, I think he kind of knew where he was at, and he was landing enough punches directly to his face, a lot of with those jabs, where there's no point in going away from that. But that 9th round, dude, when they sat there and you heard everybody kind of wondering and thinking, and a couple of announcers said as much, that Crawford had to fight that style with dodging and bobbing and weaving and moving around because he couldn't stand in there and fight and throw with Canelo. Then that 9th round started, and for the first minute, all they did was basically hug and exchange. Just 2-3 punch jab combos, and it got interesting there real quick for a hot second. And then it kind of slowed down after that. But what happens from here is what's really interesting. Does Canelo ever fight again? Does Crawford ever fight again?
I think Canelo's got like 2 more fights planned. And if you're getting paid $100 million, like, keep fighting as long as they keep paying you $100 million, right?
So yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that either. But yeah, I'm happy my boy got it done. Crawford looked real nice. Had to make a lot of people eat some crow. I still see a lot of people out there on socials just talking about how one conspiracy after another, and it's just funny. It's just funny because he put a clinic on Canelo
I
on,
was
on boxing and showed you who the true sweet science man and the pugilist really is.
I felt very I was excited for this fight. I was let down. Canelo was awful. And
See,
he's a little out of his prime. I gave him that grace when we were talking about the fight. He was a little out of his prime. Bud is right in his prime. So
well, that's funny though, because I think Bud's a year or two older than Canelo.
but Canelo's been fighting for so long.
Canelo's got more fights. He's 60. This was his third loss, I think. So I think he's 62, 3-2.
Yeah. That's a lot
This
of fights.
put Bud at 42-0, I think. So yeah, he's got 20 more fights. That does change things for sure. But again, I don't think it was as much. I think it was more Crawford and the way he was able to defend and eat those power punches that most people cannot. You throw that many body punches like that to most people through Canelo's history, and by round 5, 6, and 7, they're having a hard time moving around. Bud was smiling and shaking his head at him like, I'm still good. I got this. And then he bounced around and throw him another jab right to the forehead. I think Canelo was truly frustrated, wasn't sure what to do anymore, which I think is something he's never experienced in his career. And it was a first and a unique experience for Canelo, who's one of the best there is right now in the game. And will go down as one of the best Mexican fighters ever, for sure.
Right.
So right. Crawford ends the night as the only person to be a three belt undisputed champion. He is by Top Rank. I think I saw today Top Rank put out a list. He is the pound for pound one right now in boxing, rightfully so. A lot of good things for Bud Crawford. So, I mean, just
Robert
jumping up the 2 weight classes, which is unheard of, was pretty cool.
We'll give Caleb his flowers, which we did a lot longer than 2 minutes.
Thank you. Well, we talked about the fight. The fight was I thought it was good.
I was not entertained, but that's
wearing all his Nebraska gear, baby, putting in some work. You gotta love that.
Nobody cares about Nebraska. Nobody cares.
They're gonna have to. They're gonna have to.
We'll see. We'll see. Before we get into all the games, I'd like to have a moment of silence for my man Joey B, Smooth Joe, and his career.
It's so bad.
It's so bad. Stephen A was on today talking about he should demand a trade from the Bengals. That's how bad it is. And this comes back to, again, another thing that Caleb may have been right about. And nobody hates that more than me.
How does that taste in your mouth? I know that's hurting you inside to say these things.
I drink enough that it tastes okay.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I feel like you're getting wounded. Your pride might be dented a little bit.
The Bengals' inefficiency in their front office to fix their O-line through draft picks, through free agency, should be studied because it's bad. Bad. And now I won't blame them completely on Joe Burrow has gotten hit a lot, which has led to some of the injuries that he's had. I don't know how you avoid third-degree turf toe. I don't even know how you get third-degree turf toe. Isn't that where they just have to cut it off?
That's the end of the toe, yeah. I thought that was, once you got to the third, it was the end.
Because I think Dion got turf toe at one point that, he was, out for, a whole season because of it.
By all accounts, Burrow's going to be out a whole season.
They're saying 3 months.
So best case scenario, he's back maybe for the last couple games of the season. But if that's the case, either the season's over or you're in the playoff hunt. If you're in the playoff hunt, that means Jake Browning's been playing well. So would you pull Jake Browning for a Joe Burrow that hasn't played all year?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Joe Burrow's on another level when healthy.
I don't disagree.
Never healthy.
Joe Burrow's so good, but he hasn't played a whole year. That would be a very interesting situation.
I think it's the second season that he went to the Super Bowl, I think he played the whole year. And that's the only season.
Well, I know that, but I just mean like that would be like, yeah, he played the first game, right? He did training camp. He actually said this is the best he's ever felt going into a season.
Not no more.
Aged poorly quickly, unfortunately for Joe.
He is going to be.
You missed that much time. Oh man. I mean, obviously you would want him for the playoffs. So you would want to try to get him some reps and time. So you would think you would want to play him. But if you're really truly in the playoff hunt, that means Browning has been playing well. So it'd be hard to pull him at that point in time.
Are you, as a Bengals fan, are you comfortable rolling with Browning, or are you pounding the table to go get Kirk Cousins?
I'd roll with Browning. I think he showed enough in his time that Burrow's been out where he's pretty good.
He can sling it. For a backup quarterback, I think Browning's perfectly fine.
And that team is built on their offense and their weapons, which should make his job even easier. So there'd be no reason to spend the draft capital that you already don't have the affordability to spend.
They wouldn't spend a lot because you got to take on that contract. That's the problem I think the Bengals would have. I don't think they would.
Well, that's part of it, though, right? You're spending the draft capital and then taking on that contract, which you already can't because of the contracts you sign and are trying to do. I wouldn't. I think Jake Browning is based. Look, and we know him, and I like that guy. We know I am. But at this point in Kirk's career, I would not go get him and try to bring him into a brand new offense, a brand new system, when you have a guy who's shown he's capable already in the building. Now, you should go look at finding somebody to back him up that's on the same level.
Well, I think the Bengals should probably give the Giants a call and get Jameis.
And bring in Jameis and back up Browning. That wouldn't be bad. That would not be a bad idea at all.
Now, a lot of quarterback injuries this week to talk about. Maybe we don't get to them all. J.J. McCarthy got injured. He's going to be out 2 to 4 weeks, high ankle sprain.
Looked like a rookie in this game.
He did not.
I still think they're going to be fine long term, but he needs these reps, and it's going to be bad for him to be out now.
While you have a roster that can contend, would you possibly pull the trigger to go get Kirk Cousins back?
What is it with you and Kirk Cousins all of a sudden? I'm for it.
I'm just saying.
He's arguably the biggest name with the most potential that you could go get. That's why he keeps bringing him up, Robert, because there's not a lot of options out there that you can go win games with, and he's one that would be at the top of the list is probably the most available in the right situation.
I just wanted to get your take. I've been thinking about that all day.
So Minnesota's a little more interesting because he knows the system really well. He's proven he can play in that system. That's not a bad idea, Pinky. But then it goes back to, if you're going to do that, you sit JJ the rest of the year, is the way I would look at that. And so then it goes back to, then why didn't you pay Sam Darnold and let him have the job? And if JJ never beats him out, cool, you have Sam for a long time. Or it becomes that Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, like, okay, we've had you for 3 years. Now it's time to start this dude, and we're ready to move on from you. And you could have had Sam Darnold for a little bit more long term. So
the game is moving too fast for JJ right now. I think he still needs
It is, and it was obvious, but I still maintain what I saw for a majority of that fourth quarter in game one showed me exactly why they were willing to let Sam Darnold walk. But he needs the reps to be more consistent with that as a whole.
7 out of the 8 quarters he's played football have not looked good.
Not looked very good. No.
At all. And I wouldn't bury the kid, but it's just like the game's moving too fast for him. Like, how you can't make Justin, like, you've got Justin Jefferson, you got TJ Hawkinson, you've got Adam Thielen, and somehow you still can't move the ball against the Falcons.
Addison will be back after this week, right? He was only first 3 game of the season.
Addison will be back after game 3, yeah.
Yeah, so they're going to have some weapons. So there's not going to be a lot of excuses. We've talked about that before, rookie or not, or first year starting or not. He's going to have to produce.
Robert?
Yes.
What is something that you want to talk about from this last weekend?
Oh, man. I mean, I think the most interesting thing I saw all weekend is the fact that the Bears still don't have any chemistry on the field.
That was amazing, Robert. You were 1,000% correct.
Can I just eat my crow on that real quick and just get it out of the way? I really did truly think they were going to have a top 5 offense. I really did. I thought there was a lot of weapons there. I thought Ben Johnson would call things in such a way that Caleb Williams would be able to sling it around, and that offense at least would be able to move the ball. I could not have been more wrong on that. They'll be lucky to get top 15. They'll be lucky to get top 20 at this rate. That offense has looked bad. They've looked anemic. If you didn't know any better, you'd say that offense had 0 weapons.
This is the Bears fans right now.
Oh, I was bad. Wrong. I was very wrong. They're nowhere near a top 5 offense. Could it still happen after this year? They really did need a year with Ben Johnson to get out all the terribleness that there was before and correct all the mistakes and relearn, and then next year's good? Sure, maybe. But you won't hear me saying this again next year because I learned my lesson right now.
Dude, how can you...
I'm going to pull a pinky. You got to prove it to me first from now on with the Bears.
Caleb Williams be like, hey, guess what? You're not going to be punting. Has the most punts in the entire NFL.
That is not.
I mean, you like the confidence from your quarterback that you just drafted, but
as a rookie, no.
Talk about like a hot take going cold in the most dramatic of fashions.
Woo!
Just,
you can feel that burn. Feel that burning.
But
yeah, it was just disgusting to watch. Like, I mean, I really was hoping for a good Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell showdown. I was really hoping for a good game. And the Bears got boat race.
Well, maybe the next one will be. Don't hope for things that you don't want to actually see because you'd rather want your team to win. I'm just saying.
And unfortunately for the Bears, unfortunately for them, the Lions got their ass whooped week 1.
Yeah.
And the Lions were focused all week. We are better than that. We can definitely show better. And they came out, even when they were up like 40-something, they're still throwing the ball. 4th and 1, they're still throwing the ball for a touchdown to go up, get a 50 burger on the Bears. Like, that's just
so good.
That's disrespectful, Dan Campbell. Disrespectful.
So good. So good.
But if you, like Caleb always says, if you can't stop them, that's on you, man.
No, and I mean, it was just, you could see how frustrated Ben Johnson was. Caleb Williams just could not figure out what to do. Just a dumpster
Caleb
fire.
read a defense? Can he truly read a defense? That's what I'm wondering.
So here's my theory right now. The answer to your question is yes. But he is so broken from last year and the amount of different coordinators and head coaches he's already had. And the fact that what he ran in college was not a pro-style offense. That I think he doesn't trust. He's doing that, and I think we mentioned this a week or two ago. In sports, anybody that played sports knows, if you're thinking about what you're doing while you're playing, it's going to look bad. You have to get to the point where you just trust your eyes and your muscle memory and that ability without having to actually think about it. And right now, to me, it looks like Caleb Williams is thinking. to play football. And that is just a bad situation. In a sense, it could be a good thing, though, because it does mean that he's learning and there is actual change happening. He's not, you don't see him just trying to run out of the pocket and scramble and make that crazy weird play as much anymore. You do see him with his eyes downfield a little bit more. But it's still, what I see, I feel like a lot, is you kind of see him pump that first read, and then he kind of bails on everything else. It's like he knows what he's supposed to do, but he thought about it, and it's not there anymore. Like, I'm supposed to be, crap. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So that could get better quickly in the NFL. We've seen a lot of players do that over time. 3, 4, 5 weeks, it's been like, oh no. And then all of a sudden they take off like wildfire, right, Pinky? Or it could be a year of struggles where you see some flashes and you're wondering why it's not consistent. Well, in this case, it could be kind of a rookie reset from your quarterback and having to truly actually learn the proper things and what it means to be an NFL quarterback from what you believe to be a really good offensive-minded head coach. I don't know which way that's going to go yet, but that's my working theory with Caleb Williams. He's thinking instead of playing.
So how long does it take before Chicago fans turn on Caleb Williams?
2 more weeks.
If this kind of stuff continues for the season, they'll be done with him by the end of the year.
Because it doesn't make any. It just doesn't make any sense. Like the fact that DJ Moore was like it's like he wasn't even on the field. And then,
I mean, look, and I know a lot of people are not going to agree with this still, and I don't care. If I'm Chicago, I still would have dumped Poles. I would have gotten an offensive-minded head coach who can work with quarterbacks. I would have kept Justin Fields, and I would have used those picks the way they should have been used to build a young, talented team, offensively speaking specifically, around that quarterback and build from there. Instead, they hit the reset button 3 different times between Trubisky and Fields and then now Caleb Williams with multiple different head coaches, with multiple different OCs. The picks that they have had haven't been spent in a meaningful manner to build in today's NFL. Like, there's just been a lot of mistakes made in that organization that, regardless of how much talent you think is there and what they should be doing, you see that, lack of a better analogy or example to, compare them to, it's like the Jets. Like, all of a sudden you realize, damn, the dysfunction inside the building is so bad that it does just affect and eat and tear away at everything around it, no matter how good you think the talent or the product should be. And that's kind of what Chicago feels like right now.
It's bad. It's bad. God, let me get back to. Sorry, I just had the scores up and then went away.
Talk about the Broncos game and how.
I was going to say the other big storyline to me is the Broncos. That defense looks
unacceptable.
Middle of the road at best right now. That's bad. That's real bad. Offense did not look good game 1. Looked much better game 2. But at the same time, the Colts aren't supposed to have necessarily a great defense. So the offense, the running game wasn't quite there, but they still played really well as a whole. So you're not as concerned in that regard. But the Broncos defense, it's supposed to be, by many people, the best in the league, looked bad.
Maybe we didn't. I didn't. Maybe I didn't give enough credence to the Colts offensive line because the Broncos brought 4, thinking they would get pressure with 4, and they were wrong. They did not. And so most of the corners had to cover for 3-4 seconds, and any quarterback, Daniel Jones included, If you're giving them 3 to 4 seconds, you're not making them move, they're going to find the open guy. Almost all.
I told you that Colts team has weapons.
I just didn't think their offensive line would hold up against the Broncos' defensive line. That's where I thought we would have that advantage. Because, again, if you get no pressure on a quarterback and he can sit back and he can scan the field, they're going to probably find the open guy. You can't cover for 4 or 5 seconds. It's not going to happen. All defenses are going to break down.
Better start figuring out how you might need to, because the pressure has been a bit of an issue the first couple games here. So
I mean, they got tons of pressure on Cam Ward, but that's a different O-line than the
Tennessee
Colts.
might be the worst team in the NFL. We might have underestimated how bad that team is.
Possibly.
They're real bad.
Possibly.
So the fact that Denver won that game and it wasn't running away with it, that's where, as a Broncos fan, you should be concerned. Game 1 didn't look great as a whole. Game 2, you're relying on an offense that we're hoping still can take another jump.
And again, at the end of the day, though, Game 2 is right there. There's multitude of errors besides that leverage call, which
Broncos shot themselves in the J.K. Dobbins penalty. Well, whether you think that's a joke of a penalty or not, which I do, and I've said that kind of thing for years, should not be a personal, 15 yards on that. Like, come on.
No, that was 5. They got 15 on the next play where Adam Troutman grabbed the guy's face mask. So
I thought they gave 15 for spiking the ball with Dobbins.
No, he got 5.
Okay.
The very next play,
well, still, 15. you can't shoot yourself in the foot. We've seen that time and time again when you're talking about the AFC specifically with teams going against Kansas City, i.e. Baltimore and Buffalo. Shoot yourself in the foot and it costs you real bad. Denver experienced it.
I had so many people reach out today and Monday. Pinky, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. But what about that leverage call? And I'm like, well, that sucked. Yes, I agree. Because the previous field goal, there's video evidence of the Colts using leverage.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about that stuff.
Which again, I just don't like the refs. Like you ate the whistle on that one, but you called it on this one. Like again, that's not calling it fair.
Yeah, but if we're gonna say that, Denver should know you don't put yourself anywhere close to even being in that situation to even be close to having that call being able to be called on a 60-yarder.
Look.
Not like you were actually trying to block the field goal, okay? Like, gotta think.
You ruined my take, Caleb.
Sorry.
You ruined my take.
My bad.
I was literally going to say, they lost the game on the offensive series when Dobbins spiked the ball, and then the immediate play after, Adam Troutman gets 15. They're on the 20-yard line, 1st and 20. They are most likely going to get 7. They were scoring 7 on these guys all day. They were going to get 7. The next thing you know, you're 1st and 25 from the 45-yard line.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I'm not going to disagree with you. But then we could say at the same time, Pinky, the defense should have played in such a way that the game wasn't even in that position to begin with.
We've had some issues. I think we've had issues, and we can agree. Sometimes Vance Joseph cannot make adjustments. I don't know what it is about his coaching style that he's like, I'm still going to trust my guys. It was obvious. We get no pressure with 4. The one of the few times we brought 5, what happened? You got a sack. You can't bring 5 all the time. But if you notice you get pressure on a guy when you bring 5, bring 5. We're getting beat anyway, so why not?
Yeah, I to
me, I thought this was last week it was the offense, this week it was the defense. God help us in LA.
See what happens for the Broncos, but that defense stepping up and whether or not the offense can keep taking that next step is going to be a big storyline for a team that many thought would be in the playoffs this year. These two, I don't know if they're below me or the side of me or whatever they are. These two, their orange-colored glasses may have to be buffed off a little bit here if these kinds of things continue.
I still think they're making the playoffs.
I'm not saying the playoffs. I'm just saying the initial season record projection might have to slim down ever so slightly.
And that's some of the unknowns of
the AFC West at this rate does not look good right now.
Besides the Chargers look good. They are a complete football team right now. Although the Raiders could have made hay last night in that game.
The Chargers need to figure out how to run the ball. Very surprising that they're having issues running the ball to start the season. But
makes no sense.
We'll see what happens as the season progresses. Missing Rashawn Slater could have a bit of an impact in that regard.
Dude, if they had Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt on the ends,
could you imagine?
Like they'd be pretty good. They'd be pretty good.
Crazy.
So, Chargers look good to me. Justin Herbert is slinging it, man. And his ability to throw 20, 30 yards down the field effortlessly when he's protected is nasty right now. That deep ball he threw to Quentin Johnston was perfection. Perfection. Yeah. And Quentin Johnston finally figured out how to catch?
Apparently. So, Pinky, that leads me into a question I wanted to ask you, and we can get some thoughts about the upcoming week with this as the jump-off point, if you will. Early season, as we stand right now, 2 weeks in. What?
Before you start.
Okay.
Last game we should probably touch. Well, there's 2 games we've got to touch on real quick.
Okay.
And then let's move forward. Giants, Cowboys. Most lead changes in the fourth quarter in NFL history, I believe.
Yeah.
Crazy ending. Brandon Aubrey is that dude.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, he's their MVP.
Yeah.
And, Russ had a game. Had a game. So, kudos to them. Giants are getting better. That defense, at times, looks pretty stout.
Pretty good.
So, I thought we should shout that out.
Okay.
Eagles. Was it just me, or did the Eagles run the tush push like 57 times?
Yeah.
It just felt like they were
like, we want to grab that booty all day and push them over.
They just were running that tush push a lot. I don't know what the
actual... A lot of false starts, too, that seemed to go uncalled.
Oh, they didn't call any of them.
Little surprised by that. Like, if I'm watching at home on a 10-second delay and I can see the dudes jump before the defense moves on my delay, probably a false start.
Look, they're not going to get away with that this week.
The tush push is going away after this year, so Philly better get as much as they can. After what just happened, I guarantee you whatever other votes they needed swung drastically. Well, so when that vote comes up in the offseason of next year, it'll go away.
And it's going to go away because nobody else can run it.
It's true. And I would not vote it to go away simply because others can't figure it out. But the optics of what happened this weekend, the other owners that didn't vote last time will be voting this time, I assure you.
And what do we do with the Chiefs at 0-2?
Celebrate and have a party.
What did we have them at? Did we have them at 0-2?
Yeah. We had them at 0-2 to start the season. And that's simply because the first game, we have them splitting home and home with the Chargers. And that first game, even though it was in Brazil, was technically considered a home game for LA. So we gave it to LA. So we actually had the Chiefs going 0-2 to start the season and then still finishing 12-5. So very much after the way the Broncos have started the season, very much back into the picture for winning the AFC West again.
Well, look, the Chiefs actually could have won that game if Travis Kelce doesn't fumble that football up into the air. That's like a guaranteed touchdown from Kelce for the most of his career, and he.
It looks like both teams are coming off a bit of a Super Bowl lag. I'm not too worried about either team. We'll see what happens.
The sky's not falling for sure. KC's definitely dealing with some injuries.
Yeah.
At their offensive skill positions. They may have found a player in that
Thornton.
It's funny. At our draft, remember Andy tried to draft him with his last pick, and like we couldn't find him on the list.
Yeah.
He might have something because Mahomes is literally just throwing.
Look, people better get Casey while they can now, because I truly believe you're going to see a very different offense when Rashee Rice comes back. I really do believe that. I think people are forgetting how much he was eating to start last season before he broke his leg.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think he's going to be a big deal when he does come back for that team.
I am in my fantasy league. No one cares about my team, but I'm 3-1. I have Mixon, Addison, and Rashee Rice. I'm going to get some pretty good reinforcements down the line.
You can drop Mixon. His career's over. He's never going to be healthy again. Nick Chubb is the guy down there now, or they'll go to the rookie. But the other two, real nice late boons to your season for sure.
All right. Now, Caleb, lead us into what you want to talk about for this week.
Well, kind of a future thought consideration that moves us into next week that I would like to get your takes on, that we can use as that jumping board, as I said. Of the early season MVP candidates, not many seem to be playing all that superbly. The guy I mentioned as the one I would like to see possibly win it all, be the front runner, if you will, could break out, in Jordan Love playing really well. Daniel Jones playing really well. You just mentioned another guy playing really well. Who would you say is the top 3 or 4 guys? And out of that 3 or 4 guys right now, who do you think is still going to be there at the end of the season? Who has the most to prove going into this week that it's legit? That kind of thing. That thought process. Where are you at?
Robert, what are you thinking?
Oh man.
You're I wouldn't call you casual, but I would say you're not like the diehard fan like Caleb and I are. Like we structure our schedule around football. You're like, well, if I watch it, I watch it. Like
there are other things I like to do during the day, yes. But I will always have at least a football game on in the background. So don't let's not mistake that side of it, all right? Oh man. I mean, it's really hard to say. And I just feel like everyone's kind of finding their own feet right now. I don't have any particular vote one way or another, because some of the games that you watch this weekend, you're like, what is happening? And then sometimes you're like, okay, cool, Russ just had a game, but is he going to be consistent next week? Like, it's so... I feel like I'm walking on eggshells with it because I really don't see anything, like, amazing from anybody yet. I just don't.
I'm so disappointed I threw to you, Robert. So disappointed.
Hey, listen... I have been watching. We spent the whole day on Sunday watching most of the games.
We did. It was fantastic.
It was wonderful.
Bail your man out, Pinky. Pick him up. Pick him up a little bit. What are we thinking here?
Look,
I'm just saying, I'm not seeing anything that's exciting me in any way for any person to be an MVP right now.
I feel like you can talk about Justin Herbert.
Okay.
I think you can absolutely talk about Jordan Love. Absolutely. At the end of the day, it's Lamar and Josh. I think there's Justin and Jordan are like, if you really got to be honest, they're
on the whole
right
level.
They're right there right now. But Josh and Lamar are the guys right now. And when it comes to the end of the season, it's going to be Josh and Lamar.
Josh had a pretty bad game this last weekend.
That Jets defense is still pretty good.
How many of those can he afford to have to still be in the conversation this year?
I mean, he always has a couple of those, though.
He does. Won't disagree with that.
He always has a couple games where you're like, wait, what just happened? They won, but it didn't look good. He has a couple of those throughout the year.
So does Lamar. Yeah, I was about to say, Lamar has those days, too. We all have our day. We can't all be perfect at work.
Every true candidate's going to have one or two throughout a season. NFL season's too arduous not to. I think we all understand that.
I would put those 4 guys are the guys in the conversation. as it sits today. And your take of Jordan Love, I mean, Jordan Love keeps playing this way. Like, yeah, he's going to be there at the end of the day. Now, again, I still think, I don't know, he would have to put up absurd numbers, in my opinion, to overtake Lamar. Just because of what Lamar's done, what he will do.
Like, let me ask you this. Because obviously Josh beat him last year with lesser numbers.
I would have given, again, I'm the wrong guy to talk to because
I know, but just hear me out. I'm just kind of asking for, because that gives us kind of a barometer, right? It gives us somewhat of a place to judge things going forward. If you see, regardless of what Lamar does this season, well, I don't want to say regardless because he could put up 5,000 yards and just do something crazy, and then it's obviously, but let's say he puts up similar numbers to what he did last year, which are already absurd. And you get Jordan Love go for over 4,000 yards, 300 yards rushing, 35 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. And the Packers do win the North. Would he have a slight edge simply because you wouldn't expect the Packers to win the North where you expect Baltimore to win the North of the AFC? Even if Lamar's numbers are a little better, would you then give the edge to Jordan Love in that situation? Or Justin Herbert, for that matter, if he does something similar for LA out in the West?
I'm going to, no bullshit. If Lamar puts up numbers like he did last season, he's winning MVP this year. I felt like they gave it to Josh last year just because Lamar had won it the year before. Because all the numbers said Lamar
did more with less. There's a lot of people, and I was one of them. I said, look, I think I picked Josh last year for that exact reason. Even though I'm a Lamar guy, and it should have been his. I did feel like what Josh was able to accomplish last year with Buffalo, they felt dominant last year with him running the quarterback position. I didn't hate him getting it.
I didn't hate Josh getting it. To me, Saquon Barkley was MVP last year.
Yeah, you did say that.
Because
you did like Saquon last year.
He was the MVP of the Super Bowl champions, and he closed games.
He did.
Period.
But if we're talking sheer numbers as well, you can make a really strong case that Joe Burrow should have been the MVP last year.
I mean, not many guys go for 2K, in my opinion. And Saquon's numbers would have been even better if the tush push was not something that was allowed.
He probably would have broke LT's record if the tush push wasn't the thing. So yeah, that's crazy to think about. So going forward, those 4 you're looking at as MVP frontrunners right now. Let's talk about those 4 teams real quick then. Starting with LA Denver. What are you expecting to see this weekend from those 2 teams and those 2 quarterbacks?
Man.
I really feel like that the defense is going to have to figure out what they're going to be doing, especially if they're going to be passing. There's going to be a lot of options there, and if they give them too much time like they did this last weekend.
The Denver defense, the pass rush is going to have to get to Justin Herbert. They're going to have to. Because with Quentin Johnston learning how to catch the football, you got Ladidi McConaughey out there. And then you have Keenan Allen, old reliable.
Yep.
That's tough. That's a tough 3 wide receivers to have to cover. Now, Denver's got the guys that they can, the first 2 seconds, they can definitely do that. You're giving Herbert more than that. He's finding the open guy. So it's a tough battle. Now,
and they haven't even, like I said earlier, LA still hasn't, for whatever reason, really gotten their run game going, which a lot of people thought was going to be dominant this year. So that's still, they decided to really, lean into that a little bit more. They've got their top 3 running backs on their depth chart are all at least like 6'2", 250. It's stupid. Not actually, but they're huge. From Najee Harris to Omarion Hampton to Hassan
Haskins.
Haskins. So, if they ever decide to really get that going, just the size of those running backs is going to wear teams down over the course of a game.
The thing is, what they've been doing though is they have been throwing the ball when you thought they'd be running the ball.
They really have. Greg Roman has surprised me this year the way he's been calling that offense.
They've flipped the script at this moment. Now, their O-line at the moment has been better pass blocking than they have run blocking. And maybe that's because of Rashawn Slater not being there. Right? We don't know. So this is an interesting matchup. We picked it as a loss, if I remember right.
For the Broncos.
And I would still say most likely our Broncos are going to lose.
Well, and flip that script ever so slightly too, if you will, in a sense. Chargers might have the best defense in the league right now, the way they're playing. And Derwin James, as I've said in the past, called him arguably the best defender in the league. Fully healthy. That dude's showing it to start this season of why he could be among those mentioned for that title because he's so versatile. He's so fun to watch.
A good thing for Denver is Khalil Mack is out for a while.
That's going to hurt him for sure.
So Denver played tough games with LA last year. They did lose both of them, but they did play tough in both games. I think this is going to be a pretty good game overall. Denver's defense, I think, will bounce back. I don't think it will look as bad. Chargers probably still win, though.
Okay. Quick hitters on these other ones, and then we can get on to the F1, if you will. Ever so slightly quick mention, blah, 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 blah. Packers, Browns.
Move along.
That quickly. Packers might be the best team in the league right now, right? I mean, the way they're playing,
they're playing the best football in the league right now. The game I would want to talk about.
Well, hold up. I'm talking about these four. You mentioned those four as MVPs. I'm talking about those four dudes. Bills, Dolphins. Anything there?
No.
Bills run away with it, right? Josh Allen, jump back game, get right game for him?
Yeah, that Dolphins defense is bad.
Real bad. And then Baltimore, I just had it. They play the Lions that's why I wanted to talk about that one last. Because Baltimore, Detroit is Monday night. Detroit had a bounce back game a little bit like you talked about with Chicago this last week after kind of getting dominated by Green Bay in week 1. Baltimore didn't look as great this last week as maybe they did in week 1, even though they lost week 1 because of some end-of-the-game mistakes. Derrick Henry fumbled again. Like, what's going on here in Baltimore? Right. Is this an issue for Baltimore, or do they get right against Detroit?
Well, the last time I think they played, I think Ravens smacked them.
Yeah, they did.
Ravens looked bad last week because Myles Garrett is that freaking dude, and it's a shame he plays for the Cleveland Browns.
It is.
Because I think Myles Garrett, we might talk about as like one of the best defensive players of all time.
Possibly.
If he plays on a team that actually matters.
Possibly. Wow. And I mean, it's a divisional game. We talk about that all the time, right? Those matter, especially when it's the AFC North. That division's different.
Baltimore could not block him whatsoever. Robert, I expect you to come over on Monday night, just so you know. Lions, Ravens, that's a fantastic game.
Yes, I'll maybe a little late, but I'll let you know.
On a Monday?
I have the dogs. I got to give them back.
Oh.
I personally think that is a get-right game for Baltimore, and they kind of run away with it. I think that offense is just too high-powered. I don't think Detroit's defense is going to be all that good this year, and I've talked about why.
Shut your dirty mouth, Caleb.
I'm sorry, man. I really am. And
I'm trying to have at least this much positivity.
While that offense can put up points, I think that's more predicated on when they're the hunter rather than the hunted. And when Baltimore puts them back on their heels, I think that makes that offense do things that it doesn't necessarily like to do, and that's a problem.
When Detroit can run the football, they're unstoppable. Can Detroit run the football on this Ravens defense? That's the question.
But it has to be running the football and not being predictable running it.
No, for Detroit, it doesn't matter. Their run game sets up their pass game.
I know, but when you're going against, and I think I think Baltimore is a good defense still. When you're predictable against a good defense, it's not going to put you in good positions. So, I'm saying Detroit can't get predictable with their plan of attack.
In the last 2 years, that hasn't mattered for Detroit. If they can run the football on you, they will put points on you.
Because I think you're missing what I'm trying to say. I'm not disagreeing with you.
When they run the football, they put up a lot of points.
Yeah, but the times they haven't run the football, Pinky, they've been predictable. And that's why people have been able to stop them from running the football. So that's part of the reason Washington was able to shut them down last year in the playoffs.
Actually,
is because their play calling and their timing was predictable in what they were trying to do, and it cost them.
I mean, that was Jared Goff throwing 3 picks. A little bit different, but we'll move on. Rams and Eagles might be the other game of the week. Both 2-0.
Rams, another team I put up there, is maybe the best defense in the league right now. That young defense is playing really good to start the season. Devontae Adams got going last weekend a little bit. Puka's already looking good still. We've said, it all hinges on Matt Stafford in that back. And if we knew for sure he's going to be healthy all year, we would have them winning that division. We did not feel good about him being healthy all year with that back. And it regardless of how we pick games and we want to pick them as everybody's always healthy, best team wins. Really hard to do that when we know the history and what he was going through and the fact that he missed all of training camp. So we'll see how it goes, but they're looking good to start the season.
I am hoping we won't know till tomorrow. I'm hoping that's one of the games that's on at 11 o'clock is the Rams and Eagles. I want to watch that game.
Be good.
All right. We good? That's week 3, week 2 and week 3. We're good.
I like it. Speeding along, Robert, where is F1 going to be this weekend? And what should people
It is in Azerbaijan.
Really
it's the Baku circuit. So 5 things to look out for is, of course, the McLaren and where we stand out on the race there. It's going to be a busy weekend. This Baku's got a lot of different things to it. There's going to be a lot of overtaking, high safety car probability, and a lot of lockups potentially. We're going to be watching out for that. We're going to see what's happening. We're also hoping that Max can pull off another miracle and maybe come out with a win here. That'd be awesome. Red Bull just needs to keep performing, I think, and they could do something. Max just being Max.
Something.
Just, hey, at this point, like, the season is McLaren's, but for whatever Red Bull can do to mess that up,
sure.
Whatever that something is, I'll take it.
I like that.
I mean, we talk about him all the time, but this is actually a pretty big make or break weekend. I really do think for Antonelli. I know Wolf has been kind of talking about how underwhelming things have been with the rookie and things like that lately. This is going to be a need to perform race. For
it
Kimmy.
Does kind of feel like he's fighting for his seat next year at this point, where at the beginning, before the summer break, it didn't really feel like that would have even been a thought.
Yes. So we'll see. We'll see. I really like Kimmy. I think he's a great driver. I just think he's been putting a lot of pressure on himself and hasn't been driving. Hopefully this weekend something changes. But
it's not like Russell's all that great either. So
yeah, well, he's always chasing that 3rd, 4th place seat all the time. It's very frustrating. So we'll see what happens. Caleb, I don't know if you knew this. I'm excited to see if this happens because it'll just be an interesting dynamic for the rest of the season. But Ollie Behrman, the driver for Haas, is about to, depending on what happens this weekend, could be suspended. He's at 10 points for penalties. If he causes another incident, he is a 1-race ban.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
So, a lot of interesting things there. Very, very excited. I mean, I'm hoping nothing happens, but that would be a very interesting dynamic for the rest of the team, and what driver they do bring in. Because Haas has been very underwhelming this season so far. So hopefully they become a contender and we see something else happen there. The race is at 5 o'clock in the morning, Mountain Standard, so be sure to have a Red Bull ready to go. Pinky, I'll be calling you and giving you updates, so you be ready.
I'm I'm probably going to Junior's. I'm in town.
I mean, I'm also in town, but I've got dogs, so.
Are we gonna come lay on your bed? Is that what's happening?
I mean,
With the dogs.
with the
With the
dogs,
dog.
you'd be covered in dog hair by the end of the day. So I'm excited. Race weekend's back on. Be watching some qualifying races, of course, with Caleb on Friday, and be talking about all the things that we see and the strategies that may be going out. So super excited. And then here pretty quick, it's coming to our side of the hemisphere, and we'll be getting some solid time races, and we'll have to balance between football and F1 watching. So that'll be interesting.
No doubt.
We'll figure it out. That's what we're about. That being said, I don't have anything else on F1. Caleb, if you've got a couple things. Nope, we're good. All right, so it's nonsense time. We're going to start off with a pretty morbid start and just kind of, man, we lost a legend today, Robert Redford. Rest in peace, my man. Appreciate all of the things you gave us. You were awesome. Definitely a juggernaut in the industry and did a lot for indie films, so appreciate you, sir.
Castle and Spy Games, two of my faves.
I mean, his roles in the Marvel universe were on par. I
Also
always
good.
loved those. So, yeah, very true shame. But he was 89 years old, lived a great life, did a lot of movies. So, I mean, can't really be too mad about that. So, again, just Redford, thank you for everything. Thank you for being an icon.
I mean,
you're awesome.
89. That's a good run, man.
Yeah, that's
Right?
fantastic. He did a lot. He did a lot.
And he probably had a lot of great experiences and life stories. So
Absolutely.
cheers.
No
Cheers,
doubt.
Robert.
Absolutely. Cheers on that. Now, this is the last thing that we will talk about before Peacemaker. It's very quick, Pinky. We will be discussing this Friday actively, probably during the day. 9 Inch Nails, Tron Ares album releases on Friday, ladies and gentlemen. We are less than a month away from opening. I have made plans to go to the double IMAX feature with Legacy and Ares on the 8th, so I'm looking forward to that. And then, of course, Pinky, you and I will be catching it at some point together, too. So I'm very excited for this. I really hope Tron knocks it out of the park. This is really my last big blockbuster of the year. There's a lot of underwhelming things coming out in the fall and the winter, so just getting ready for 26 and what's coming after that. But Tron Ares, be ready for it. We're going to keep talking about it for a while.
And that 9 Inch Nails, I mean, they played that one song from the soundtrack at the concert. I'm
It's the
telling
only
you,
one
man,
that's out. It's the only one that's out.
the first 40 seconds of that song gets you freaking hyped.
It hits for sure.
It does, man. You play that thing, you turn it up, and it's like,
Ooh.
oh, yeah. And then once he starts singing, and I like Trent, but once he starts singing, it's not quite the same. It's still good.
Agreed.
It doesn't have that edge.
It was still good live too. Seeing it in concert,
He
live
killed
was
it
good.
live.
But
That was
like,
great.
the first 40 seconds, man, that thing just hits.
Well, there's gonna be hopefully some other hits coming Friday. Pinky I'll be listening for sure during the day. So
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I'm working from home. I think I'm just gonna put it on and like whatever.
That's exactly what I'm doing, my man. That's exactly what I'm doing. So, all right. So, what y'all have been waiting for the nonsense portion. This is a spoiler alert. So please, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not watched the newest episode, this is now your time to leave because we're about to spoil.
Bounce.
Before we spoil, has John Cena gotten better as an actor since last season?
Yes.
I feel like he's doing a phenomenal job this season.
He's really getting to show his range with the character, that's for sure.
Like,
Absolutely.
I'm a John Cena guy, obviously. You know,
Right,
never
right.
seen 17 champ. That's my guy. But I do take acting seriously. Some of his roles have not been great. He was awful in Bumblebee. We can be honest. He was awful in Bumblebee.
That was not a great movie.
I actually thought Bumblebee was a fine movie. I just think he wasn't that good in it. This is like, he's on another level with it.
It's gonna be really hard for him to ever get away from this role at first. By the time it's all said and done, like this is who he's going to be probably for the remaining of his acting career, depending on how long the DCU goes. But he's killing it, absolutely killing it in this role as Peacemaker. And Chris, what's the last name? Chris,
Smith. The most generic name, Chris Smith.
Chris Smith, thank you.
Robert, what did you want to talk about from episode 4?
I love Michael Rooker. I love him. He just is always such a fun character. He's funny and he's serious. And I will say this though, if he fucks up Eagly, I'm coming after him. Like,
I'm worried, man. I'm worried.
That final, like, you just got to meet him in this episode and really get to understand kind of who his character is, and he's a nut. But at the end of the episode, you're sitting there going, "Oh my god, what is happening here?"
Did he become a superhero? Is that something from the comic books I should have known?
So this one I'm not entirely familiar with myself. So I've been waiting to talk about everything here first, and I'm gonna do some research. But I'm so excited for this character because I mean the Argus agents themselves this season have been hilarious,
dude. Tim Meadows' character.
He's making fun of my disability. Is it funny? Yeah.
Damn, Ginger, cool. You got some sass to you, or whatever he said, and then he just gets spit on.
Like, it's so great having living in the nerd universe now, where you get to have here's the feel good superhero movie, but now here's the show for the adults, and it's just as good.
Yeah, but you know what? At least for me, what I think James Gunn is doing a phenomenal job of is he is making a show, specifically Peacemaker is what we're talking about, where you're watching it feeling like, damn, this is like The Boys, or this is like The Sopranos, or this is like Sons of Anarchy, or something along those lines, where it's like this hardcore, heartfelt, fast-paced action drama with all of this really good acting. And then you get something out of nowhere where bird blindness, or Eagly swooping in and killing a whole battalion of agents, or an alternate universe. Like they bring you back to all of a sudden
that changes everything.
Yeah, all of a sudden they bring you back to the fact that this is a comic book, right? These are comic book characters, and they're holding true, very true to that. But that shows you how good they're writing the stories and the scripts.
Absolutely. What you got, Pinky?
This is a made-up character by James Gunn. This
okay, fantastic. I was about to say, I was like, I don't know.
I don't even care about that character as a whole. I just mean in general, the way they're telling Peacemaker, the way he's writing the character, the way they're telling the story is top-notch entertainment at its finest, Absolutely. TV at its best. But then they do something out of nowhere where it's like, oh yeah, this is still a comic. And the way they're able to blend that together seamlessly is just, mwah.
It's fantastic. And I mean, when you got the opening scene of how they originally got the dimensional portal and how that progresses through this episode.
Yeah, kill the alien or whatever that was. Like, that was brutal, dude.
What? Like,
Dad, no. And you don't tell me what to do.
Boom.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm super excited for where this storyline goes, because this is something relatively new for the alien side of the DC verse so far. No one's been able to figure it out where it's from or who it is. So, I'm all for it. I loved the whole interaction of them trying to get out of there, and then,
the fact that his dad just stole the portal randomly from something. Then how does he get the helmets then? How does that all come to be? Like, there's a lot to tell with just that
there's
little
still
sequence.
Much. And when you have John just delaying for Chris to be able, for Peacemaker to be able to get to the cabin and get everything set up, installing everything, like, solid. I really love this. What do you got, Pinky?
You know what I need, though?
What?
I need more vigilante.
That is one of my biggest complaints, and I actually didn't realize it, but a lot of the episodes from last season are around the same length. I just feel like they maybe had more substance to it. Is it just feels like they're going too quick. They're too short. There need to be like 10, 15 minutes longer.
I have
Personally.
a theory on why, Robert, because I was thinking the same thing, and then you said it earlier in the group chat, basically. This is my theory. And I love that they're doing this for season 2, because season 1 was all about that huge build-up to the very last episode, and they saved the world. And you could very easily skip to the next tragic event that they're saving the world for or whatever, right? But Gunn didn't do that. He made season 2 basically the direct follow-up and the aftermath of them coming out of saving the world.
Oh, completely.
Right? And so the way they're telling that story, I feel like it feels fast-paced because while it feels like maybe we actually aren't getting a lot, I think it's the exact opposite. I think we're filling in so much in such a short time frame that if we get the last 3 episodes are as spectacular as everyone's hoping they are based on the rumors and everything that James Gunn has allowed to go out there, right? The boom that could take off from here for the DCU as a whole could just be cataclysmic. Like absolutely absurdly wild, open range. Because the storytelling that they're doing with Peacemaker is so grounded right now. It gives you the ability to have a season 1 like they did that was just complete absurdity and totally comic book. To now you feel like you're getting, like I just said, a true action drama, a true like crime drama kind of feel where you're getting real storytelling, real character building that I feel like it's genius in a sense because we truly are developing a whole lot in a very short time frame. And I think that's why they're all feeling like they're so fast paced and ending so quickly. At least for me. That's my theory right now.
I mean, I see what you're saying. I can agree with you. I just feel like I would love another 10, 15 minutes out of the episodes. So
I wouldn't be mad if they were a little bit longer. By no means.
So, but no, we're getting into the home stretch of things. I'm excited.
All right, so let's start throwing some predictions because this was episode 4. This is halfway through, right? There's only 8 episodes, isn't there?
Only 8.
I believe so.
So where do we have some thoughts on where this leads?
I mean, I'm still the Adebayo brought it up. She's like, maybe this universe is just showing what you want to see, and I'm like, this is the Earth X where Hitler won, and this is it. And he's still gonna have to decide which universe he's gonna choose to save.
So you really do think that's going to be like he's going to learn that there's something about that universe that's so awful he doesn't actually want to be a part of it, okay?
Correct.
And that's what brings him back home, basically.
Yep.
Pinky, what do you think? What are you feeling?
I mean, what I'm interested in at the moment is what is Peacemaker going to be able to do to stop Rick Flag Sr. from hunting him down?
That is a great question.
he is on the revenge tour. And I get it. He killed your son. They made it a point. Hardcore told Rick Flag Sr. he was ordered to kill your son by Amanda Waller.
Mm-hmm.
He was just doing his mission, right? That doesn't make it any easier as a father.
Mm-mm.
But who's to blame?
I mean, in this case, it's always Amanda Waller.
So here's my theory right now. I think he's going to get put in a position where he has to choose between the two hardcores. And it's basically going, and I don't quite know, I haven't fleshed it out all the way as far as how the life or death situation kind of unfolds, but he's basically going to have to choose between the two hardcores, and the decision is such that if he chooses the other alternate universe, the other hardcore dies, but he gets to be with hardcore, or they both live, but he doesn't get to be with either hardcore, and he stays in his current proper universe. Something along those lines where he's going to have to put that portal at risk to to make that decision.
I mean, he fell in love with the original hardcore. I think that's what's going to be the anchor point.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what he fell in love with, not the really nice, accommodating. Like, that's a different hardcore than who he fell in love with.
Oh, dude, and the way they're writing hardcore is so good. I mean, the turmoil,
my favorite so far this season.
The self-infliction for the character, the inner turmoil, the wrestling of emotions, like just those couple little flashbacks we've gotten bring her character so much more well-rounded so quickly. It's just so good.
Wait, what's going on?
I don't know what's going on.
Bye, Pinky. It was good knowing you.
Oh, he's back from outer space.
But he's still got that sad look upon his face.
Should have changed that stupid lock.
We'll give you back your key if you just come back for 1 second and just hang out with us this wonderful evening. Don't go. Come back through the door. Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to keep talking about it. These theories will flesh out even more next week and see if we're on the right track. If things happen where we feel like we're on the right track. Because like Robert and I's theories are very different. And his theory, I think I almost don't like it just because I don't want it to be true because it's so brutal of a thought. And the implications of it are so wild. I almost don't want it to be true, but it would be crazy if it is. So we'll see how things unfold. Robert, Pinky may or may not be back. What do you have for final thoughts this week, sir?
Oh, man. I had a great weekend with friends and family. I definitely burned the candle at both ends, but I had a great time. Got to see a bunch of movies with people that I love. Got to hang out with Pinky and you on Sunday, just watching football and having a good time with family. So just it was always a great time just to think about things and just be grateful for what you got after everything that's been going on in the world. So
love it,
nice
my
to hang
guy.
out with you guys.
Pinky, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I am ready for some WrestlePalooza, baby. Let's go. ESPN's first show. Let's go. They took over. John Cena is going to whoop that ass on Brock Lesnar.
That's go.
That's what's happening. Let's go.
For you guys wondering, yes, Pinky has gone full talking head. The pencil in the hand while he speaks to the audience will be a normal part of his routine now.
Except wearing his glasses, so we don't know if he can actually see what he
wanted
writes.
to make sure we're perfectly clear. That's how far we've come. True talking head pencil now. We've got it.
Yep.
My final thoughts.
His glasses.
I don't care what anybody wants to say. Nebraska is standing up, and I am here for it, and I'm going to keep drinking this damn Kool-Aid as long as I possibly can. Let's go. GBR, baby. On that note, take those times, those moments, those occasions to spend with your inner circle, family, loved one, friends, whoever you consider that to be. Do not take those moments for granted. Cherish them. Take those opportunities. Run with them. We always do. We appreciate everybody that likes, follows, shares, subscribes. Please, if you support us in any way and you're not doing one of those things or you're doing one and not all, we appreciate you doing all of them. It helps a lot. We want to keep growing this. We want to make this kind of conversation normal when it comes to being able to talk about things you love with those around you and enjoying it, because we do, and some people do, I guess, because, there's a little bit of a following. So we thank you all so much. Till next week. We're out.
See ya.
Peace.
Pinky in the building, reppin' orange and blue. Broncos country, yeah, you know how we do. Hot take so wild, you remember the name. From college ball to the pros, Caleb spitting game. Robert here, the pop culture plug. From comics to racing, pour the drink in the mug. Sports, nonsense and whiskey, yeah, bold talk. Good laughs and a glass in the air. sports. Nonsense then whiskey, right? Kick back, tune in, take a wild side stride.